Yo, it's me again. Listen, I want to give you the one clue that most people forget that removes procrastination. Yeah, it's going to remove procrastination. But in the meantime, let's talk about what happens when you have all these big goals going on and sometimes you just don't feel motivated. I'm going to show you 3 things that you can do, and I'm going to remember the one thing that can totally transform it for you to help you get prepared to win and overcome the obstacles that are slowing you down. Procrastination, number 1. Let's talk about it. Procrastination is not a state. It's not something you can be locked in. You are not a procrastinator. It's just something that happens in the brain because the focus is not present to move you past it. And you can break through that by doing 2 things. Number 1, you got to tap into the logic center of the brain. You've got to tap into that subconscious mind and help whatever it is you're trying to do make sense. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. The next thing that you need to do is you need to tap into the limbic system, the emotional center around the thing you're needing to get done, and connect it somehow emotionally with some form of success that matters to you. Not just here, but here. All right, here are the 3 things that I want to start off with. Number 1, I want you to break your task, the big task, into smaller tasks. Now, I know that might seem really, really simple, but I need you to understand. You have to accept that, number 1, there's only so many hours in a day. And number 2, how many hours are you actually going to work during the day? That's up to you. We all vary just a little bit, but how many are you going to actually work in one day? Once you determine what hours you're going to work in a day, and that can vary, then decide, okay, which things are the most important. If your task list is 10 things, it's probably going to be a little steep trying to get it all done unless they're like 5-minute elements. When we're talking about our life and big goals, it can't be 10 things. It can't really exceed 3, and 3 might be too many. But let's look at it. Take the week and look at the entire week before you narrow down that day. Set a goal. In the week, in the 7-day period or the 5-day working window, whatever your scenario is, what I really want to accomplish, what would make me feel good when it's time to end the week on that thing. Decide that. Then I need you to work backwards. If I did an hour or 2 or 3 or whatever's available for each one of those things, what needs to happen today? Because sometimes we're just so end goal focused that we forget that you don't get to the end by starting at the end. You've got to sometimes crawl to get there. So once you determine that, now look at your day. What's the 3 to 5 things that need to happen in this day just to be ready for tomorrow? Not to accomplish the task, not to be able to write a memoir about how amazing you are, but so that you're progressively moving forward. My mentor and one of my buddies, Radical, he always talks about 1% every day. Just get 1% done. If you're 1% closer, you're closer. I need you to be comfortable with that. So decide, what are the small tasks that you can absolutely accomplish today and not overwhelm yourself? That's going to be a big deal. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to connect your goals to personal goals. Connect your goals to personal goals. Connect the tasks to personal goals. That's what I'm trying to say. I have to look at my notes really quickly so I make sure I get you every point. Connect your tasks to personal goals. When you think about your day, and again, you only have a certain amount of time, what things do you need to accomplish that's going to help you feel good mentally? If you did these things, they're going to help you feel good mentally. Go ahead and write that down. Okay, excellent. Now, let's then go the next step. What things, if you knock them out, you're going to feel good physically, like emotionally and physically, you're going to feel good. Like, oh, I got this accomplished. So therefore, I can go do the 3rd step that's coming up. Reward yourself. But before we get to reward, let's stick here. What difference is that task going to make in your life? I often tell my children, listen, you get to live one life. And I understand that sometimes there's going to be things you want to do and things you need to do, and we may not agree on how you're going to go about it. But the one thing that connects it, makes it personal is, will you be able to sleep at night if this thing is done? Or will it disrupt your flow? So take that task, connect it to a personal goal. How is that going to make you feel? And if accomplishing that, will you be able to sleep at night? If the answer is no, then that is not going to be enough, and you have to ask yourself why. Because often we're too critical of ourselves and we think too far ahead. And so I need you to reel that anxiety back in, because you already did your weekly plan down to your daily plan. What can get accomplished that you can say, wait a minute, I did move 1% closer. Write that down. That's what you're going to tackle for that day, those 3 to 5 things. And then last but not least, I already cheated on it. I need you to reward yourself. How are you going to end your day? Listen, I understand this whole culture that we talk about. There's no time to sleep. I'm going to sleep when I die. That's foolishness. You live now, enjoy now, be present now. Your relationships are now. And if you miss them, you might discover, like many people have said on their deathbed, I wish I could have, would have spent more time with family and friends. So decide, how are you going to reward yourself? I need you to reward yourself in a healthy way. What does that look like? Does that look like maybe a bowl of popcorn? Maybe it does. Does it look like going for an evening walk with somebody you love? Maybe it does. Does that look like gaming for 30 minutes? Maybe it does. Or maybe a walk in the park. I need you to identify that, but I need you to do it. Now here's the last thing that I want you to know about. It's the whole thing that changes everything. There's this idea, it's called mental contrasting. It was invented by a woman named Gabrielle Oettinger. Gabrielle understood that our subconscious mind plays tricks on us. We've all had goals that we want to go accomplish, and unfortunately, once we got going, we were super excited, and then the things that we overlooked started to show up, the obstacles, the challenges. And while we believe we can overcome them because we know where we're headed, many times it's not enough. And we get lost in that middle gray, really fussy area of these obstacles because we get stuck. We don't know who we need to contact. I've had it happen. I don't like it very much. We don't know who to contact, and so we're trying to pull strings to put things together, and all of a sudden our motivation that was here begins to decline. And that's a very sticky feeling. So Gabrielle's secret was this. Instead of deciding, hey, listen, this is where I am and this is what needs to happen, and then starting on the journey, incurring the obstacles and hoping to fight through the motivation to get to this amazing end goal that may look different, may arrive on time, may not arrive on time, instead of approaching life that way, she created this mental contrasting model. And it's basically a visualization technique that looks like this. You take the current state that you're in. You accept, hey, here's where I am. Here's what I need to accomplish. Here's how much time I have in the day. Here's what's going to help me sleep at night. And if I do that, the next step is not the obstacles. The next step is the end goal. Envisioning, man, what's that going to look like? What's that going to feel like? Man, I know that by the time I get done, or when this is all said and done, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to have that skill set. I will be able to make this kind of money. I'll be able to deliver these types of courses. Whatever that is, really get present to what the future state can look like. And then identify the obstacles. Now, the obstacles are what they are, but write them down. Here's some of the obstacles that I'm going to have to overcome. Well, the way the visualization technique works is you've created safety for your subconscious mind because you addressed where you are. You then dove into what the end result's going to look like and got present to it and who you get to become as a result of it, or the access or the money or whatever that is. And now you're saying, okay, and in order to do that, here are the things that we need to overcome. This is extremely helpful for you because now, going back to the beginning of what you're going to actually do when you break down the small tasks, you're going to take elements of the obstacles and you're just going to begin to chop them down. And as you chop them down, keeping your mind on where you're headed in the future, reminding yourself of what that's going to look like, and going back over the obstacles, you find free, what we call flow, to show up. Because you've already addressed the obstacles and you've already put in motion the effort, the necessity, the awareness of it, and you are now riding the momentum of completion, my friends. Procrastination, you can knock that out. You can overcome that. Listen, sign up for my free VIP group. I don't know what's going on with me today. It doesn't matter. You're out here. You're following me. You're getting what you need to transform your life. Sign up for my free VIP group where you're going to get a lot more of this and some coaching courses and things I have coming up. In the meantime, subscribe, share, and like this post, and comment as well. Peace.